Alright, imagine this. You just won the lottery. Not a couple $100. We're talking tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. Overnight, your life changes. No more bills. No more 9 to 5. Just freedom. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the twist. Within just a few years, many lottery winners end up broke. Some file for bankruptcy. Others fall into depression. Relationships collapse. And worse, some end up even worse off than before they hit the jackpot. So why? How does something so good turn so bad so fast? The truth is, sudden wealth doesn't just change your bank account. It rewires your brain, shakes up your identity, and forces you into a world you weren't prepared for. And that, right there, is where the trouble begins. At first, it starts innocently enough. A new car. A bigger house. Maybe a vacation to the Maldives or a shopping spree on Rodeo Drive. After all, you've been dreaming of this moment forever, haven't you? The idea that you could finally live without limits. But soon, that freedom becomes overwhelming. Your phone rings more often. Long-lost cousins, old high school friends, people you barely remember suddenly want to catch up. And oddly, they all seem to have big ideas and financial problems. You feel obligated, guilty, generous. And why not? You've got more money than you could ever spend, right? Except that you don't. You just think you do. Because here's the secret no one tells you about sudden wealth. Unless you know how to manage it, it disappears faster than you can imagine. Most lottery winners have no financial education. They're not investment bankers or wealth advisors. They're regular people, teachers, mechanics, store clerks, who suddenly get handed a fortune without a roadmap. And instead of learning to grow it, they spend it. Rapidly. Luxury comes with a price. Not just the price tag, but the lifestyle inflation. You buy a mansion, and now your utilities cost thousands per month. You hire staff, and now you're responsible for their salaries. You fly private, and suddenly commercial flights feel beneath you. The mind adapts quickly. What once felt like extreme luxury becomes the new normal. And when the money starts to dwindle, you don't go back, you go into denial. You think, there's more where that came from. But there isn't. And it's not just about the money, it's the psychology. Sudden wealth breaks your relationship with value. When you no longer have to work for what you earn, money loses meaning. A $500 dinner? Sure. A $30,000 watch? Why not? You stop thinking in terms of cost, and start thinking in terms of convenience. You lose perspective. And with that loss of perspective comes vulnerability. Scammers, fake business partners, shady advisors, your wealth paints a target on your back. And when you don't know what questions to ask or how to protect yourself, it's easy to fall into traps. You might think you'd never fall for something like that, but studies show, time and time again, that people who receive sudden wealth are far more likely to make impulsive decisions. Why? Because they're reacting emotionally, not logically. Now layer in the social pressure. Money changes how people see you. Friends grow resentful. Family members start asking for handouts. Every interaction becomes transactional. Did they invite you because they like you? Or because they think you'll foot the bill? Are they being kind? Or manipulating you? Relationships crumble under this pressure. Divorce rates among lottery winners are high. Friendships dissolve. Some people withdraw entirely, unable to tell who's real anymore. And that isolation leads to something deeper, emotional burnout. The anxiety of having it all and still feeling empty. The fear of losing everything. The guilt of having more than others. It's called sudden wealth syndrome. And it's real. Psychologists describe it as a form of trauma. Your identity is ripped apart. The world you knew is gone. And now you have to navigate a new one, filled with expectations, temptations, and constant judgment. So what do most people do? They spend to feel normal. They try to prove they're still the same person. They give money away, hoping it will buy love or loyalty. They make risky investments, trying to grow their fortune without understanding the risks. And before they realize it, they're in trouble. Debt creeps in. The lifestyle they've built is no longer sustainable. They sell off assets. Try to borrow. Pretend nothing's wrong. But the cracks keep widening. And soon, the fantasy crumbles. Now, not everyone crashes and burns. Some lottery winners succeed. But here's the thing, they almost always do one key thing: they pause. They don't buy the mansion on day one. They don't quit their job immediately. They find a trusted advisor. They build a financial plan. They treat the money not as a windfall, but as a responsibility. Because wealth without wisdom is dangerous. The truth is, sudden wealth amplifies who you already are. If you're reckless, it makes you more reckless. If you're insecure, it magnifies that insecurity. If you're generous, you may give too much. The money doesn't fix problems, it exposes them. And that's why so many people go broke after winning the lottery. Not because they're stupid. Not because they're greedy. But because they're human. And humans, when overwhelmed, make emotional decisions. To illustrate the challenges faced by lottery winners who have encountered financial and personal hardships, here are several notable examples. William Bud Post. In 1988, William Bud Post won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery. Despite this windfall, he faced numerous challenges. Rapid spending. Within 2 weeks of receiving his first annual payment, Post spent over $300,000 on items such as a liquor license, a restaurant lease, a used car lot, and a twin-engine airplane, despite not having a pilot's license. Legal troubles. His ex-girlfriend successfully sued him for a portion of the winnings, and his brother was arrested for plotting to have him murdered to gain an inheritance. Financial decline. By the end of his life, Post was over $1 million in debt, and relied on food stamps and a $450 monthly stipend. He passed away in 2006. Jack Whittaker. Jack Whittaker won a $315 million Powerball jackpot in 2002. His experience post-win was tumultuous. Theft and legal issues. Whittaker was frequently targeted for theft. On one occasion, $545,000 was stolen from his car while it was parked at a strip club. He also faced multiple legal disputes, including being sued by a casino for bouncing $1.5 million in checks. Personal tragedies. His granddaughter, Brandy Bragg, was found dead under suspicious circumstances in 2004. Additionally, his daughter, Ginger Whittaker Bragg, passed away in 2009. Financial losses. Despite his substantial winnings, Whittaker faced numerous financial setbacks and legal battles that eroded his fortune. Laura and Roger Griffiths. This British couple won approximately $2.76 million in 2005. Extravagant spending. They purchased a $1 million barn-converted house, a Porsche, and indulged in luxurious trips to destinations like Dubai, Monaco, and New York City. Marital strain. The financial windfall and subsequent lifestyle changes contributed to the deterioration of their marriage, leading to divorce. David Lee Edwards. In 2001, David Lee Edwards from Kentucky won a $27 million jackpot. Lavish expenditures. Edwards spent millions on high-end cars, mansions, and a private jet. Rapid financial decline. Within 5 years, he was penniless and living in a storage shed. Health and personal issues. Edwards and his wife struggled with substance abuse, and he eventually died alone and broke in hospice care at the age of 58. Callie Rogers. At just 16 years old, Callie Rogers became the UK's youngest lottery winner in 2003, winning £1.8 million. Impulsive spending. She spent her winnings on cosmetic surgeries, designer clothes, and partying. Financial hardship. A decade later, Rogers declared bankruptcy. Personal reflection. She later expressed that she was too young to handle the sudden wealth, and that it negatively impacted her life. Mickey Carroll. At 19, Mickey Carroll won the equivalent of $11.8 million in the UK. Reckless lifestyle, dubbed the Lotto Lout. Carroll squandered his fortune on drug-fueled partying, jewelry, and cars. Financial ruin. He eventually lost all his winnings and returned to working as a garbage collector. Abraham Shakespeare. In 2006, Abraham Shakespeare won $30 million in the Florida lottery. Exploitation and tragic end. Shakespeare was approached by Doris D.D. Moore, who offered to help him manage his money but instead took advantage of him. In 2009, Shakespeare was reported missing, and his body was found in 2010. Moore was convicted of his murder. These cases underscore the complexities and potential pitfalls of sudden wealth. While winning the lottery can provide financial opportunities, without proper management and support, it can lead to significant challenges and hardships. So, what's the lesson here? It's not just about winning the lottery. It's about any situation where wealth comes quickly: inheritance, a massive business sale, a viral success story. The rules are the same: without preparation, you're walking into a storm. So ask yourself, what would you do if you suddenly had $50 million? Would you celebrate? Travel? Help others? Would you invest? Or would you splurge? Would you tell people? Or keep it quiet? And most importantly, do you have the mindset to manage that kind of wealth? Because that's the real difference between those who stay rich and those who lose it all. Sudden money doesn't just test your wallet, it tests your values, your identity, your relationships, and your sense of self-worth. In the end, it's not about how much you win, it's about what you're ready to handle. So next time you buy a lottery ticket and start fantasizing about that jackpot, remember, winning might change your life, but whether it's for better or worse, depends entirely on you. And if you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. We've got more deep dives coming, unpacking the quirks of human behavior, society's mysteries, and the things that make us tick. Stay curious. Stay grounded. And I'll see you in the next one.